Each moment in a day has its own value. A very good morning to all of you.
We all need food to live.
We eat a variety of food every day. Have you ever thought where this food is grown? Yes, food is grown in the fields. Farmers grow food for us. Let us know about the process of growing a crop in the chapter 9, Producing Food. Yes, so today we will learn chapter 9, Producing Food. The process begins with plowing. The process of loosening and turning the soil is called plowing. This is done by a wooden or an iron plough. Animals are used to pull the ploughs in smaller fields. Plowing in the bigger fields is done by tractors. There are some advantages of plowing. It loosens and aerates the soil so that the roots are able to penetrate deeper and breathe. It helps in the growth of microorganisms and worms in the soil and maintains the fertility of the soil. After plowing, the soil is leveled with the help of a leveler and furrows are made in the soil. Some of the advantages of leveling are: it crushed bigger pieces of dry soil into smaller pieces. It helps in distributing water uniformly. It presses the loosened topsoil and prevents soil erosion. Do you know, children? After soil is prepared, the seeds are put in the furrows. This is called sowing of seeds. The seeds sown must be healthy and of good quality. There are two methods of sowing seeds. First method is by hand. In this method, farmer scatters the seed in the soil. But there are some disadvantages also. Seeds fall in clusters at just one place. Seeds do not reach into the right depth and the birds can pick them up. Now we will discuss the second method of sowing the seeds, that is with a seed drill. A seed drill has a funnel-shaped opening. These tubes are attached to the plough. Seeds are put into the funnel. As the plough makes furrows in the soil, the seeds are deposited at the right distance and right depth in the soil by the drill. This method is better than sowing seeds by hands, as the seeds are scattered over the entire field at the right depth. Children, now we will discuss about transplantation. The seeds of certain crops are not sown directly in the field. Instead, they are first sown in the nurseries. Later, the seedlings are transferred to the field. This is known as transplantation. Plants like rice, chilies, and tomatoes are grown by the transplantation method. Do you know, children? Plants use the nutrient present in the soil for their growth. So, the soil becomes poor in nutrients. Farmers add manure and fertilizers to make the soil rich in minerals. Manure is made from dung of farm animals. Fertilizers are human-made chemical compounds. They are rich in minerals. Now, it is important to give water to plants after giving manure and fertilizer. So, there are three methods of irrigation: furrow irrigation, flood irrigation, and sprinkler irrigation. In furrow irrigation, the fields are made into the number of ridges and furrows. Crops are raised in the ridges and irrigation is carried out in the furrows. In the flood irrigation, water from canal is allowed to flow into the fields. This water slowly spreads over the fields depending upon the slope of the land. This method is used only in places where a lot of water is available. Now we will discuss about sprinkler irrigation. In sprinkler irrigation, water is sprayed on standing crops in the form of artificial rain. This method is used when flood irrigation or furrow irrigation is not possible. It is one of the modern method of irrigation. Do you know, children, many unwanted plants grow along with the main crop. These unwanted plants are known as weeds. They compete with the main crop for water, nutrients and sunlight and retard the growth of the main crop. So, weeds must be removed. The process of removing weeds is called weeding. Weeds can be removed by hand using tools like trowels and harrows. Nowadays, farmers use chemicals called weedicides to destroy weeds. Now, a very important thing to protect the crops from pests and diseases. So, plants can be protected from pests by spraying pesticides and insecticides to kill pests and insects, putting up scarecrow to scare away the birds. Plants can be protected from diseases by soaking seeds in fungicides and antibiotics before they are sown. Plants can also be protected from diseases by spraying fungicides and antibiotics on the standing crops. When the crop matures, it has to be cut close to the ground. So, the process of cutting mature crop plants is called harvesting. It is done either by sickles or machines called harvesters. Now, after threshing, the very important thing to separate the grains from the harvested crops. So, the process of separating grains from the harvested crop is known as threshing. Threshing is done by spreading the harvested crop on the ground and walking over it. Animals such as bullocks and camels are used for this purpose. In large farm, a machine called thresher is used for threshing. After threshing, the chaff is removed from the grains by wind. This is known as winnowing. In this process, the threshed grains are made to fall from a certain height. The seeds, being heavier, fall directly on the ground, while the light chaff falls separately and the wind blows it away. The harvested grains are dried in the sun. The clean grains are then put in the gunny bags and transported to godowns known as granaries or silos. It is a dry, cool place protected from rats, insects and birds. The harvested grains stored in the granaries and silos are transported in trucks to the wholesale market for sale. Shopkeepers and vendors buy food grains from these wholesale markets. We buy food grains from the shopkeepers. The food grains bought by us are cooked and eaten. This is how we get our food. This is called the journey of food. Now we will discuss about the types of farming. One type of farming practice is subsistence farming. In subsistence farming, many farmers have their own small fields. All the members of the family work in the field, and the yield from this farming is enough only for the farmer's family. Small farmers who practice subsistence farming generally depend on rain for their crops. They are poor, so they borrow money to buy seeds and fertilizers. If the crop fails to grow due to poor and excessive rain, they are unable to pay back their loans. At times, the big farmers take away the land of the smaller farmers if they fail to repay the loan. They then become landless farmers or laborers. They have no option but to work on the farms of other big farmers who exploit them by giving poor wages. So at times they are forced to leave their homes. The government, however, has various schemes to help small farmers. The human population is increasing at an alarming rate. We need to increase our food production. Farmers are using scientific methods, modern irrigation facilities, manure, fertilizers and insecticides, pesticides and weedicides to increase food production.